What's going on, tubes? It's Saturday afternoon. It's a little after 12 o'clock. Not much going on today, as I figured. The temperature out now was like around 36, 37 degrees. Yeah, I'm pretty sure you couldn't see that. Excuse me. But I was going to try to record rotating the tires on my truck, but unfortunately it didn't. It's just, let's just be honest, it's just too damn cold to be messing with that. And you know, there's thousands of videos about doing routine maintenance to your cars and trucks and stuff like that, but a lot of times, you know, it's not well, I'm not gonna say it isn't, but a lot of times it's not showing the average Joe doing it his way. You know, on the ground, in the dirt. Yeah. And a lot of times there's no tips thrown in that can help. So yeah, I was gonna try to do maybe a tire rotation one and an oil change one and looking at your brakes and stuff like that, and throw in a few helpful tips here and there. And those videos will be far and few between because, like I said, there's a half a dozen out there, and you know, you've got mechanics that are certified for that kind of stuff, and you know, they're going to get more views than I'm going to get on the subject anyway, so it doesn't matter. But you know, last night I think it ended up raining again last night. And of course, it got a cold front came through, brought the rain, then it got cold, and now it's just well, let me show you. Now, I don't know how well you guys can see because on my screen it's dark, but let's see if we can. Oh yeah, look at that nice cloud. And then you see a little hint of blue here and there. Yeah, and then I'm not sure if you can see the water standing right there. And like, you know, the man who owns that property back there, he the only reason why he bought the property is because if you see that street right there, well, that's the street I stay on, and I can't zoom in any farther. But if you go all the way down that street to the stop sign, which in a couple videos back you see me pull up to an intersection, that's what leads you to it or whatever. And he stays across that intersection down the road somewhere. But they were going to build a highway, like a bypass highway, right where his house was sitting. So he bought the property with the intentions of in case they did, he'd have somewhere he could build him a house. Now, you know, that kind of sucks. And the property goes all the way from the edge of where those trees are lining that property line all the way back to that corner there, and then it shoots all the way across, and it goes to that corner right in between those two pines, and then upside the back side of this little building, up and around to over there. And then of course, you know, it leads back up this way, and then there's in between where this light pole, yeah, the light pole there is there, and the where the gas tank is on the other side. So yeah, he was going to build it. He was going to build it with intentions of in case they did. Well, that's been several years now, and nothing has happened, and I don't know what they're going to do. And he's actually got the property up for sale. So I guess if they ever did it, he would just end up buying a house somewhere else or building somewhere else or something. I don't know. But yep, just one of them days where there's nothing to do. Oh well, I'll take that back. There's plenty to do. It's just that you don't feel like doing it, and a lot of stuff that you can't do because of the freaking temperature. You know, like the pipe that's on the roof or whatever that I wanted to change out and, you know, patch the hole. I can't do it because the caulk has got to set at a certain temperature for like 24 hours. So I'm screwed there. Then you have the grass that is growing, obviously, and you know there's patches of dead grass here and there. I mean, it'll end up coming back out. I mean, it is slowly, but you've got patches of freaking clover and all kinds of shit. And you know, even as far back as, well, like I said, I can't zoom in any farther, but back there is like some kind of wild grasses growing in and stuff. The only other thing I could talk about was that yesterday afternoon, me and a coworker was talking, and you know, he makes pretty good money being a mechanic or whatever. He's actually my mechanic that works on my truck and stuff. But he was saying that, you know, he got paid and now he's broke, all within one day. And you know, that goes to show you that it doesn't matter whether you make $1,100 a week or $300 a week, or if you get paid bi-weekly or whatever, you may get anywhere between $500 and $1,200 or more, depending on what you do for a living. But you know, mechanics oftentimes make quite a bit of money, but the downside is that that's what you get when you work, you know, flat rate, as far as getting paid what you get paid for however many jobs you get done, you know. And you know, that, I think he even told me that's returning almost 70 hours. Yeah. But in a nutshell, if I had had the money, I would have loaned him maybe $150 just to get him past the weekend or whatever. But he said tomorrow that he was gonna end up doing some hang on a second, if I can get him. Is it gonna zoom in? The wildlife, ladies and gentlemen, the wildlife. Now I don't even know how in the world that little bug right there can be out as cold as it is, but it must have bigger cojones than I do. But anyway, back to the story. You know, I would have loaned him the money if he needed it. Well, I mean, he did need it, but if I had it, should I say. And unfortunately, I didn't have it. You know, I work a low-end job, obviously, as being a temp or whatever. And yeah, that sucks too. That's another song and dance that the subject that I don't even want to discuss, because the temp service that I work for is pretty lame. But anyway, you know, it's unfortunate that you work in a country, or you live in a country where jobs are hard to find and you have to jump through hoops and cut red tape, tons of red tape, just to get anywhere. You know, you shouldn't have to. If you graduated high school, or if you got your GED and you decide that you don't want to further your education or whatever, it should not be hard for you to go out and find a basic common job, whether it be masonry, woodworking, plumbing, electrical, so on and so forth. And it's either that you got to know somebody, or you've got to be the biggest brown nose that ever lived. And I don't do either one. I don't brown nose, and I try not to know nobody no more than I got to. And that's just for personal reasons. The past has taught me very well, should I say. Sorry about the interruption or whatever. A friend of mine stopped by to talk about some financial troubles that he was going through or whatever, about some loan company and writing bad checks or whatever. And the company themselves, they seem kind of shady. That's trying to say that he basically wrote a bad check or whatever, but I don't know. I told him, I said, I would be looking for some documents, some documentation about what kind of check was written and the copy and all that, and that every check has a check number, and trying to get proof or whatever. And for him to go back and look at his bank statements to see if exactly what was paid, because he did get a loan, and supposedly he paid the loan back, but I don't know. Secondly, while we were out here talking, the strangest thing happened, and I swear it seems like every time something happens, I can't record at the time because I'm doing something else. It looked like a cargo plane, like a C-30, but it was smaller, and it was all gray, and it had this nozzle coming out the back of it, and it was spraying something, and it was flying, pretty low. And it flew basically from this direction that way over and over that way. And the trail didn't stick around. It dissipated very quickly. And then the plane double backed and then came back and flew back over, and it flew back over the second time. There was nothing spraying out of the back of it. So I don't know. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to Google search what kind of plane it was, and try to find a picture of it and show you guys what I'm talking about. But as far as finances go, the only advice that I can give people, man, I've got a little bit of financial trouble myself. I've got a Capital One credit card that I've got to get paid off, but it's the only major debt that I have, and I'm thankful for that because my truck is paid for. When I got the truck paid for, I was able to get a credit card, and the credit card got ran up like $1,800, but it was for necessities. I was out of work at the time. I needed clothes, I needed food, I needed this, I needed that, and you have to take care of priorities before you can play. You know what I mean? But and slowly it's getting paid off as the credit limit comes up, as far as the because you have a main balance, what you have on the card as far as it being maxed out, which mine was $2,500. Well, $1,800 of that is what's owed. And you have a cash credit limit of like 400, and I think it's like 450 or something like that. So as the 450 comes up, what I owe back will go down. The best suggestion that I can give anybody who's got any kind of issues like that, God, it's cold out here, is to make sure you pay your bill on time every month, and that way it doesn't mess up, you know, as far as your overall credit score, and they don't try to add no more interest to it than what you already have, because that's pretty much what you're paying. You're paying partially interest, and if you can get the interest paid down and continuously keep making that payment on it or whatever, you'll eventually get it paid off in no time. And you know, that's what I've been trying to do. I've been trying to get things out of the way and sorted, and all these projects fixed and caught up and whatnot, and it's just been one damn thing after another, and it happens. But if you decide to go out and take a loan for something, don't borrow no more than what you need. If you want to establish some credit to begin with, if you have no credit whatsoever, because having no credit is just as bad as having bad credit. So if you go out, and let's say you don't go to, my best advice for you is not to go to a buy here, pay here place, because it will not establish any credit at all. Your best bet is to get it from an actual car lot that has a finance company behind it, and you get some financing done, and you pay the loan off, and boom, you'll have some credit. But if you go to a buy here, pay here place, yeah, you'll get a car. Now, granted, if you need a car ASAP and you're not worried about your credit right now, then that's the way to go, because then you can make the payment on it and be done. You know what I mean? But 99.9% of the time, the cars at the buy here, pay here places are crap, and you'll end up just screwing yourself over anyway. But that's what I did. I went to an actual car lot and got mine financed, and the truck itself was $8,500. I put $1,000 down, which dropped it down to $75. And when they financed it, my rate was high because of a first-time buyer, and I didn't have any cosign or nothing like that, so it was like 14. I want to say it was like 14.99% or something like that. But and this also was when I was working at my other job too. I had, 4 years to pay it off, and I think I did it in a little under 3.5, something like that. And that's because when I first started making the payments on it, I made them like I was supposed to, when I was supposed to, and as I started getting progressive, the number down or whatever, I made double payments, and that sped up things quite a bit. And you just got to be careful. You can't go out and expect to borrow 10 grand if you can't afford to pay back 10 grand. Which is like right now with me working this job I'm working now, there was no way in hell I would dare even try to go out and get a car and make a payment on it, unless I was to get it from a buy here, pay here place. But that's not going to happen, because I don't want to buy a piece of shit. But anyway, it is now 1:15. I'm cold, and the weather out here is crappy. It just sucks. Hopefully tomorrow will be better, but until then, stay groovy. Look at that dog. Look at that dog. He's a stinking damn dog. Woo, yeah, he's a stinking dog. Look at that stinking dog. See him. You're a stinking dog.